In the vast expanse of space, Earth's orbit was quiet, almost unremarkable. Amidst the countless satellites and space stations circling the planet, one vessel floated alone, the Dauntless. To most of the Galactic Empire, it was a relic. A warship prototype abandoned years ago, outdated and not worth attention. But beneath its unassuming exterior, the Dauntless held secrets that even the Empire's brightest minds could not have imagined. Deep inside the ship's control room, "Captain?" Lena Park ran her fingers over the sleek holographic controls. The bridge buzzed softly with activity. Around her, a crew of diverse specialists monitored various systems engineers fine-tuning adaptive shields, weapons officers calibrating experimental pulse cannons, and a tactical AI humming quietly in the background. "Status report, Lena?" requested, her voice calm but filled with an edge of anticipation. "Adaptive shields at full capacity." "Captain," the engineer replied. "Weapon systems are optimized with the new alien tech we recovered from the Andari ruins. Power distribution is stable." Lena nodded. "Good. Let's make sure this old ship surprises everyone." The ship's history was one of underestimation and dismissal. Years ago, when the Galactic Empire's fleets overshadowed Earth's modest space program, the Dauntless was sidelined, seen as a failed experiment, too small, too unpolished for the Empire's grand stage. Earth's leaders, however, refused to let it gather dust. Instead, they invested in secret upgrades, blending alien technologies with human innovation. The crew aboard the Dauntless knew their ship's true value. They had trained tirelessly, mastering the nuances of its living systems and unpredictable weaponry. In many ways, the Dauntless was a living extension of human will, adaptable, fierce, and relentless, far from Earth. In the sprawling Imperial Command Tower, Admiral Varkin stared at the holographic display of the Dauntless. His face was sharp, eyes narrowing. "A single human prototype destroyed our scout ship," he muttered, disbelief evident. "How is this possible?" The Imperial fleet, boasting thousands of ships and overwhelming firepower, had grown complacent. Humanity was dismissed as a backwater, unorganized species incapable of challenging the Empire's might. The destruction of the scout ship shattered that illusion. Varkon's voice was cold and decisive as he addressed the council. "Prepare a fleet. We will crush this defiance before it spreads. The humans will learn their place. Back aboard." The dauntless news of the Imperial fleet's impending arrival spread quickly. The crew worked with a mix of excitement and determination. This was their moment, not just to defend Earth, but to prove that the underestimated could triumph over. The mighty Lena gathered her team in the strategy room. The holographic map of the solar system displayed the approaching Imperial ships. "They believe we're weak," Lena said firmly. "But we have something they don't: adaptability and a will to survive. Our weapons are experimental, yes, but unpredictable. Our tactics will be unlike anything they expect." The tactical officer, a sharp-minded young woman named Kira, smiled. "They rely on brute force and rigid formations. Will hit fast, hard, and vanish before they can react." Outside the ship's windows, the stars gleamed, cold and distant. The calm before the storm was thick with tension. Yet, beneath the surface, the Dauntless pulsed with life. Its hull shimmered with bioluminescent lines, living technology grown from the ruins of ancient civilizations. Its engines whispered secrets of quantum propulsion, allowing sudden bursts of speed that confounded enemy sensors. Lena's heart beat in time with the ship, steady and strong. "Today, we show the Empire what Earth is made of," she said softly. In the silence of space, the Dauntless waited, a lone warrior in the shadow of giants, unseen, unheard, but ready to rewrite the fate of humanity. The Galactic Empire's pride was as vast as the fleets it commanded. When the Imperial Command received reports of a single Earth warship destroying one of their scout vessels, most dismissed it as an isolated incident fluke caused by faulty intelligence or luck. Admiral Varkan, however, knew better. His sharp mind recognized the threat beneath the Empire's surface arrogance. Still, the Empire's arrogance ran deep. Earth was a distant outpost, barely worth a full fleet. A few dozen ships, maybe 100, could teach the humans a lesson. Send the fleet, he ordered, voice calm but unwavering. Show them the might of the Empire. Let them understand the price of defiance. The Imperial fleet, a massive armada of gleaming warships, approached Earth's solar system like a storm on the horizon. Massive cruisers bristled with cannons. Bombers hovered in formation, and carriers launched swarms of fighter drones. The Empire's confidence was palpably a brutal reminder that Earth was still viewed as insignificant. On the Dauntless, Captain Lena Park watched the incoming fleet. On the tactical display, the size of the armada was daunting, thousands of Imperial vessels in precise formations, designed to overwhelm. Size isn't everything, Lena reminded her crew. We have speed, stealth, and unpredictability. The crew prepared with practiced efficiency. Engineers double-checked weapon calibrations. Pilots ran simulation drills. And the ship's AI ran thousands of tactical scenarios, searching for the perfect strategy. As the Imperial fleet closed in, a broadcast crackled over the universal channels. The Empire's voice was cold, formal, dripping with condescension. People of Earth, you have overstepped. Surrender the Dauntless, and your defiance will be forgiven. Resist, and your planet will suffer the full wrath of the Empire. Lena responded without hesitation. We do not surrender. Earth will defend itself with every ounce of strength and courage it has. The message was clear, challenge and a promise. The first contact was brutal and chaotic. Imperial warships unleashed torrents of energy and missile fire, confident in their overwhelming power. But the Dauntless was a blurred dancing through volleys, its adaptive shields shimmering with alien energy, absorbing and redirecting attacks. Captain Park's commands were swift and precise. Evasive maneuvers, alpha. Fire pulse cannons on target. One launched drones to disrupt their sensors. The ship's AI anticipated enemy moves, countering with precision. When one Imperial cruiser tried to flank, the Dauntless released a wave of electromagnetic pulses that fried its targeting systems, sending it spiraling out of control. The battle had begun, and the Empire's arrogance was meeting fierce resistance. On the bridge of an Imperial battleship, Commander Rax stared at the tactical readouts in disbelief. The Dauntless was more than a nuisance, was a phantom, striking hard and vanishing before retaliation. We must adapt. Rax barked at his officers, concentrate fire on that ship. Do not let it slip away. But the rigid Empire doctrine made swift adaptation difficult. Commands were slow to shift, and the crew's fear of defying protocol slowed their response. Back on Earth, Lena watched the battle unfold like a deadly dance. They expect us to break, she said quietly. They don't understand what drives. U.S. Kira smiled grimly. They don't know the heart of humanity. As the battle raged, the Dauntless began to turn the tide. Using advanced stealth technology, it slipped behind enemy lines, targeting supply ships and command vessels. Each strike was surgical and devastating. Sowing confusion within the Imperial fleet, the Empire's officers exchanged grim looks. The underestimated Earth ship was rewriting the rules of engagement. Admiral Varkan, monitoring from the command tower, clenched his fists. The Empire's dominance was slipping and humanity's fierce, unpredictable spirit was the cause. As the sun set behind Earth, the battle continued in the cold void above. The Empire's arrogance was faltering, and the Dauntless was proving that even the mightiest fleets could fall to a determined few armed with ingenuity and courage, the war. For Earth's survival had truly begun. Earth Space Command was alive with urgency. The unexpected attack on the Imperial scout ship had sparked a ripple that could no longer be contained. The Empire's armada was on its way, a ruthless wave intent on crushing any hint of rebellion. But Earth was no longer the unprepared backwater it once was, in a sprawling orbital shipyard. Engineers and technicians worked around the clock. The Dauntless, the overlooked prototype, was docked and humming with latent power. Its hull was layered with new adaptive shielding harvested from the enigmatic ruins discovered on Europa. Scientists tested and retested experimental pulse weapons, each designed to exploit weaknesses in the Empire's fleet. Commander Lena Park strode through the busy corridors, her presence steady but inspiring. She paused at a holodisplay showing the ship's latest upgrades. "Status?" she asked, her eyes sharp. "We've integrated the quantum phase disruptors into the pulse cannons," the lead engineer replied. "They can temporarily disable enemy shields and sensors. It's experimental but promising." Lena nodded. "Good. Every edge counts." In the training bay, pilots moved through rigorous simulations, their expressions focused. Human pilots had long been underestimated by Imperial forces who favored automated drones and rigid command structures. But these pilots had something no machine could replicate: intuition born of resilience and adaptability. Lieutenant Amir Vasquez led the flight squadron. "Remember, the Empire fights by the book. We don't. Use your instincts, hit fast, and disappear." His words sparked a renewed fire. The pilots knew the Empire's doctrine was both their greatest strength and their weakness. Earth's advantage lay in unpredictability. Meanwhile, the ship's AI, known as Athena, ran countless simulations, refining tactics and coordinating crew actions. Athena was more than a machine. It was a partner learning from human intuition, adapting strategies. In real time, Lena watched Athena's holographic interface as it projected battle scenarios. "What do you see?" she asked. Athena's voice was calm and precise. "The Empire's fleet is strong, but inflexible. I recommend hit-and-run tactics targeting supply lines and command nodes. Use the environment asteroid belts, radiation fields to mask our movements." "Exactly what we need," Lena replied, feeling a surge of confidence. Across Earth, public broadcasts showed citizens watching the looming threat with a mixture of fear and pride. The story of the Dauntless had ignited a spark of hope. Humans everywhere found strength in the idea that they might stand against the Empire's oppression. In a small town on the planet's surface, children gathered around a digital storyteller, captivated by tales of the brave crew aboard the dauntless heroes who fought not with overwhelming force, but with heart and cunning. Back on the ship, preparations reached a fever pitch. System was tested, every crew member ready to face the unknown. Lena stood on the bridge, looking out at the stars beyond the viewport. The vastness of space seemed both daunting and full of promise. "We're not just defending Earth," she told her officers. "We're showing the galaxy what humanity can do when pushed to the edge." The room was silent, filled with resolve. As the Imperial fleet neared the solar system, the Dauntless slipped quietly from the shipyard. Its engines hummed softly, a blend of human engineering and alien technology ready to unleash fury. Lena's voice was steady. "Prepare for engagement. This is our moment." Outside, the stars awaited the clash. A battle of might against ingenuity. Arrogance against determination. The overlooked prototype was no longer alone. Earth was ready to fight. The cold silence of space shattered under the roar of engines and the flash of energy weapons. The Imperial fleet loomed ahead, a glittering wall of warships, bristling with weaponry and confidence. Yet, cutting through the vastness, the Dauntless emerged, small but unyielding dot. Captain Lena Park stood at the bridge, her eyes scanning the tactical displays. The Empire expected a quick, crushing victory. They had not accounted for Earth's resolve. "Enemy fleet in formation," reported Kira, the tactical officer. "They're using the standard wedge formation optimized for overwhelming force." Lena nodded. "They think their numbers will win. Let's remind them why we adapt." With a sharp command, the Dauntless powered its engines, slipping through the enemy's perimeter with uncanny speed. Its hull shimmered as the adaptive shields activated, dispersing incoming laser blasts that would have torn lesser ships apart. The first salvo from the Imperial cruisers was a torrent of fire. The Dauntless was elusive. Maneuvering through the onslaught, it launched a volley of pulse cannons, enhanced with the newly integrated quantum disruptors. The effect was immediate. Imperial shields flickered and failed on several frontline ships, leaving them vulnerable. Target the supply cruiser in Sector 4, Lena ordered. "Disable their logistics." A sharp volley struck the supply cruiser's engines, sending it spiraling out of formation. Chaos rippled through the Imperial fleet. Supply lines faltering meant their endurance in the battle was suddenly at risk. But the Empire was not easily shaken. Commander Rax, aboard his flagship, rallied his captains. "Concentrate fire on that one ship. It cannot be allowed to disrupt our formation." Massive cannons swiveled and unleashed concentrated plasma beams. The beams scorched space where the Dauntless had been mere moments before. But the ship was already gone, darting through asteroid debris. Using the environment as cover, Lena's voice was calm but firm. "Use the asteroid field to our advantage. Prepare drone swarms to disrupt their targeting." In the darkness between rocks and debris, the Dauntless released swarms of tiny drones that emitted electromagnetic interference. Imperial sensors faltered. Shots missed wildly, and the fleet's tight formations loosened. "This is exactly the kind of fight we can win," Lena said. A trace of a smile playing on her lips, Kira added, "They rely on precision and overwhelming firepower. When their sensors fail, their advantage disappears." The battle escalated as the Dauntless struck again and again, its pulse cannons targeting critical systems on Imperial warships. One by one, enemy ships faltered, engines disabled, weapon systems offline, shields shattered. Amidst the chaos, Lena made a bold decision. "Prepare for a strike on the flagship. This ends with their command broken." The flagship was massive, an imposing fortress in space. Imperial banners fluttered across its hull as it barked orders, trying to restore order to the disintegrating fleet. The Dauntless approached under cover of a debris cloud. Engines throttled down to minimize detection. "Stealth mode activated," the engineer reported. "We're nearly invisible to their sensors." Inside the flagship's command bridge, alarms blared. "Intruder detected. Unknown ship closing fast." But before the Empire could react, the Dauntless unleashed its quantum pulse cannon. The shot pierced the flagship's main shield, striking deep into its engine core. A massive explosion rocked the enemy vessel. Power systems flickered and failed. The flagship drifted helplessly, a beacon of the Empire's faltering dominance. Back on the Dauntless, the crew cheered quietly. They had struck a decisive blow. Lena's eyes met Kira's. "This is just the beginning." The Imperial fleet, now leaderless and disorganized, faltered. Ships turned away, trying to regroup. But the damage was done. The Empire had underestimated Earth, and it was a costly mistake. Far below, Earth's people watched the distant light of battle with hope rising in their hearts. Their overlooked prototype was rewriting history. The destruction of the Imperial flagship sent shockwaves through the enemy fleet. Without its commanding presence, the once formidable armada wavered, their formation unraveling like a thread pulled loose. Yet, amidst the chaos, a grim determination took root in Captain Lena Park. The fight was far from over, if anything. This was the moment to press their advantage. "Damage report," Lena demanded, her voice steady as the ship hummed around her. "Systems at 95%. Shields are stable. Weapons fully operational," came the reply. "The fleet's disarray gives us a window to strike deeper." Kira's eyes flickered over the tactical display, highlighting the vulnerable Imperial command nodes scattered among the retreating vessels. "Their command and control ships are scattered and exposed," Kira reported. "If we can take them out, their fleet will collapse entirely." Lena's gaze hardened. "Then that's exactly what we're going to do." The Dauntless surged forward, weaving through the debris of shattered vessels and escaped fighters. Its pulse cannons, enhanced with quantum disruptors, hummed ominously, ready to unleash precise and devastating strikes. "We're not just fighting for survival," Lena told her crew. "We're fighting for the future of humanity and for every world oppressed by this empire." The ship's AI Athena coordinated perfectly with the human crew. Targeting systems locked on command vessels, Athena confirmed. Initiating attack sequences, with surgical precision, the Dauntless fired. Energy beams cut through the vacuum of space, disabling engines and communications arrays. Imperial warships, stripped of their command links, became isolated islands of confusion. On the bridge of a crippled Imperial cruiser, Commander Rax barked frantic orders. "Restore communications. Rally the fleet." But panic was spreading. Without their flagship's leadership, ships struggled to maintain formation or mount an effective defense. The Empire's tactical superiority was crumbling back on the Dauntless. Lena watched the enemies unraveling with a fierce satisfaction. "Push forward. We don't give them time to recover." Athena's voice was calm, but urgent. "Multiple enemy vessels preparing to counterattack. Suggest evasive maneuvers Gamma." Lena didn't hesitate. "Execute evasive Gamma. Fire pulse cannons on approaching fighters." The battle raged with renewed intensity. Imperial fighters swarmed like angry hornets, attempting to overwhelm the lone warship. But the Dauntless was swift and agile, darting through enemy fire and retaliating with devastating bursts. Lieutenant Amir Vasquez led the fighter squadron escorting the Dauntless. His voice crackled over the comms, steady and confident. "Keep them off the ship. We've got their attention, and we're not letting go." Amir's pilots engaged enemy fighters in a deadly dance precision maneuvers. Quick strikes and tight formation flying that kept the Empire's swarm at bay. With the Imperial fleet disorganized and its command structure shattered, the Dauntless took the offensive. Lena made a calculated decision to target the enemy's supply vessels and repair ships next. Without these support ships, the Empire's fleet would be unable to sustain a prolonged fight. "Focus fire on supply and repair vessels," Lena ordered. "Cut off their lifeline." Within moments, targeted pulse blasts disabled engines and weapon bays, sending critical logistics vessels adrift. The Empire's ability to resupply and repair was crippled. From the bridge of a distant Imperial battleship, Admiral Varkon watched the devastation unfold. His face was grim, his confidence shattered. The Empire's greatest fleet had been reduced to a scattered, retreating force. "Prepare a full retreat," Varkon commanded, voice tight with frustration. "This battle is lost. We will regroup and strike again." Back aboard the Dauntless, the crew felt the weight of victory settle in, but they knew better than to celebrate prematurely. Lena addressed her team. "We've struck at the heart of their fleet, but the war isn't over. The Empire will come back harder." Kira smiled with determination. "Then we'll be ready. They underestimated us once. They won't make that mistake again." The ship's engines powered up, ready to pursue or defend as needed. Humanity's prototype warship had not only survived, had shattered the Empire's illusion of invincibility. Far below, on Earth, the world watched with bated breath. The transmission of the battle's outcome spread quickly. For the first time, humanity knew they could stand against the Empire's might. Hope was no longer a fragile spark, it was a blazing flame. And the Dauntless was the beacon lighting the way. The Imperial retreat was swift but disorganized. The once mighty armada fractured into scattered groups, limping away from the battlefield. For the first time in generations, the Empire's dominance was openly challenged. Back on the Dauntless, Captain Lena Park stood over the tactical display, watching the enemy ships fall back. Her mind raced not with triumph, but with the heavy burden of what came next. "This victory changes everything," she said softly. "The Empire won't forget what we've done here. They'll come back stronger, more ruthless." Kira nodded in agreement. "But so will we, and we won't be alone." Far beyond Earth, across countless star systems, news of the Dauntless's victory spread like wildfire. For decades, the Empire's grip had silenced dissent and crushed resistance before it could grow. But humanity's defiance was a beacon. On the distant colony world of Veralia Prime, a council of leaders convened. The news transmissions detailed how a single Earth warship had shattered an Imperial fleet. It sparked hope and action. "We cannot sit idle any longer," declared Counselor Merrick. "If Earth stands, then so can we. It's time to unite." Back aboard the Dauntless, Lena received a secure communication from Earth's High Command. The message was clear: mobilize alliances, reach out to oppressed worlds, and build a coalition strong enough to challenge the Empire. Lena felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. "This isn't just about Earth anymore," she told her crew. "It's about every world yearning to be free." Athena, the ship's AI, projected a map highlighting known Imperial-controlled systems with active resistance movements. "Strategic coordination with these factions could tip the balance," Athena suggested. "I recommend initiating diplomatic outreach protocols." Captain Park convened a meeting with her senior officers. "We have to turn this moment into a movement," she began. "We'll reach out to every colony, every rebel group, every oppressed planet willing to stand with us. Together, we can build a fleet that no empire can ignore." Amir Vasquez, the pilot leader, leaned forward. "The pilots are ready. We've trained hard and we're eager to fight alongside allies." The engineer smiled. "We'll upgrade the Dauntless with whatever technology our new allies can provide. We're stronger together." Meanwhile, the Empire was not idle. In the shadowy halls of the Imperial Command, debates raged. Admiral Varkon faced fierce criticism. His failure to suppress Earth's rebellion was seen as a sign of weakness. "The humans have ignited a fire," he warned. "If we do not crush this uprising now, it will consume us all." The Emperor's Council was divided. Some advocated total war, swift and brutal. Others urged caution, fearing the loss of resources and morale. But one thing was certain: the Empire would retaliate. On Earth, Lena prepared for a new mission. The Dauntless would travel to the outer colonies, delivering messages of hope and coordination. "This is more than a warship now," Lena said. "It's a symbol, a call to arms." As the ship launched from Earth's orbit, its crew felt the enormity of their task. The fate of the galaxy's free peoples now rested in their hands. Across the stars, resistance cells began to mobilize. Messages flowed between hidden bases, linking together like threads in a vast tapestry. The Empire's days of unquestioned rule were numbered. The Dauntless blazed a trail through the darkness, carrying humanity's message of defiance and unity. The galaxy was awakening, and the future belonged to those brave enough to fight for it. The Dauntless glided silently through the cold void, bound for the outer colonies where whispers of rebellion were becoming shouts. Captain Lena Park stood on the bridge, watching star systems scroll past on the holographic map. each blinking, represented not just a location, but a potential allure, an enemy. We've got multiple transmissions from Varelia Prime and other systems. Kira reported. Resistance groups are eager but cautious. They need reassurance. Earth isn't just sending soldiers, but support and hope. Lena nodded, knowing the challenge ahead. We'll show them we're more than just a warship. We're a symbol of unity. In the command center, Athena sifted through data streams, analyzing potential threats and opportunities. Diplomatic channels open. I recommend sending envoys and technological aid alongside the warship's presence. Trust must be earned. Lena turned to her officers. Prepare a team for ground missions. We'll need diplomats and engineers who can work alongside local leaders. Lieutenant Amir Vasquez raised his hand. My pilots can provide escort. And quick response if things go sideways. Good, Lena said. We're going to need all hands on deck. The first stop was Varelia Prime, a lush but scarred world where years of Imperial rule had left deep wounds. As the Dauntless entered orbit, the planet's resistance leaders greeted them cautiously, but with visible hope. Counselor Merrick met Lena personally. Earth's victory has breathed life into our cause. We've struggled alone for too long. Lena clasped his hand firmly. We don't fight alone anymore. Together, we can turn the tide. Over the following days, engineers and diplomats from Earth worked alongside Varelia's resistance, sharing technology and strategies. The Dauntless became a hub of collaboration, its crew learning as much from the locals as they shared. But the Empire watched from afar. Shadowy agents infiltrated the resistance, seeking to undermine unity. One night, a sudden attack erupted on a resistance outpost. Imperial drones swarmed the area with ruthless precision. Alerted immediately, the Dauntless launched interceptor fighters led by Amir. Engaging hostile drones, Amir reported. We've got to protect the outpost. The battle was fierce. Imperial drones, though smaller and less powerful, attacked in relentless waves. But Earth's pilots fought with fierce determination and teamwork honed from countless drills. The drones fell one after another until the assault ceased. Back on the bridge, Lena watched the aftermath. They're trying to fracture our alliance. Through fear, Kira frowned. But we stood firm. That attack only strengthened their resolve. Lena's gaze hardened. Then we'll make sure the Empire knows the galaxy is waking up. Athena systems analyzed the intrusions and traced signals to a distant Imperial base in the shadow of a dying star. We should strike there, Lena said. Cut off their operations before they can spread more chaos. The crew prepared for another bold move, knowing that every victory would invite greater danger in the quiet moments. Lena reflected on what they were building, not just a fleet, but a community. The disparate systems joining together, once isolated and fearful, were becoming a united front. Humanity's strength isn't just in weapons, Lena thought. It's in resilience, in hope, in connection. As the Dauntless prepared to jump toward the Imperial base, Lena addressed her crew. This fight is far from over. But with every system that joins us, with every battle we win, the Empire's hold weakens. The future is ours to claim. Outside the viewport, stars stretched endlessly, and the ship surged forward into the unknown, carrying the galaxies. Hope on its hull, the coordinates to the Imperial base, blinked steadily on the tactical display, nestled in the dying light of a crimson star. The base was a hub of Imperial operations, a dark heart. Pumping resources and orders into the scattered remnants of their fleet, Captain Lena Park stood firm on the bridge of the Dauntless, her crew ready for the final push in a campaign that had transformed them all. The alliance they had forged was strong, united by a common purpose: to end the Empire's tyranny once and for all. We're not just attacking a base, Lena told her officers. We're delivering a message. The galaxy will no longer bow to oppression. Athena's voice was calm, yet carried a note of urgency. Scanning enemy defenses. The base is heavily fortified but vulnerable to a coordinated strike. I recommend simultaneous attacks on their energy grids and communication arrays. Prepare strike teams, Lena ordered. We'll hit hard and fast. Our allies are joining the assault. Outside the viewport, fleets from the newly united systems gathered. Ships of diverse design and origin, once scattered and silenced, now sailed together beneath a single banner of hope. As the Dauntless led the charge, Lena's thoughts flashed back to the first days of their fight, the overlooked prototype. The near-impossible odds and the courage of a crew who refused to surrender. The battle began with a surge of firepower. Pulse cannons from the Dauntless and allied ships tore through shield generators, plunging parts of the base into darkness. Fighters darted in to disable enemy turrets, while ground teams deployed via drop pods to sabotage critical systems. Imperial defenders fought fiercely, but they were overwhelmed by the coordinated assault and the unity of the attackers. Amir Vasquez led a squadron deep into the enemy hangars. "Hold your formation," he commanded. "We strike as one." The pilots weaved through laser fire, their skill and determination carving a path through the chaos. Each destroyed turret and downed fighter brought the Alliance closer to victory. On the ground, diplomats and engineers worked side by side with resistance fighters. They dismantled weapons caches, hacked security networks, and rallied captive workers to the cause of freedom. Lena watched the battle unfold, proud but cautious. This is more than a fight. It's a new beginning. After hours of relentless combat, the Imperial base fell silent. The Empire's grip was broken. Communications channels that had once broadcast Imperial propaganda now carried messages of liberation and solidarity. Back on the bridge of the Dauntless, Lena addressed her crew and allies. "We've won a great victory today, but our journey continues. The Empire will not surrender quietly. We must remain vigilant, united, and ready." Kira smiled, eyes bright with hope. For the first time, the galaxy can see that freedom is possible. Across the stars, colonies, and worlds once crushed under Imperial rule began to celebrate. The Alliance grew stronger, bound by shared sacrifice and the vision of a future where all species could thrive. Earth's people watched the broadcasts with pride. The overlooked prototype, once dismissed as a relic, had become a symbol of hope and defiance. Captain Lena Park stood at the viewport, looking out at the stars. The war was far from over, but the tide had turned. "We fought because we had to," she whispered, "but we won't stop until every corner of the galaxy knows what it means to be free." The Dauntless powered up, ready to lead the fleet into whatever challenges lay ahead. A new era was dawning, a future shaped not by fear, but by courage, unity, and the indomitable spirit of humanity.